The impact hammer is the only melee weapon in Unreal Tournament. Although usually used as a last resort for its damage, it offers great utility in terms of trick jumping and defensive capabilities. The primary fire mode of the impact hammer does two jobs. One, enables you to do awesome trick jumping across the map and get to those hard to reach areas. And two, to charge up that hammer doing maximum damage at close range combat, humiliating your opponents at the same time. To charge the impact hammer, simply hold down mouse 1. Once it's reached its maximum charge, it can do 140 damage, and you can keep it indefinitely charging for as long as you like, providing that you don't let go of mouse 1 or walk into the enemy, which will automatically detonate the hammer. However, be aware that if you are charging while next to your opponent, it will not fire automatically until it reaches its maximum charge. Using the impact hammer's primary fire in combat situations is rather difficult. Due to its incredibly loud nature, it sounds like a freight train running across the map screaming, "Please shoot me, I want to be shot in the face." There are no sneaky plays with the impact hammer, there is only headless chicken plays with the impact hammer. You can't pretend to be a ninja behind a corner waiting to pounce. It doesn't work, I've tried it. Now the best way to get kills with the impact hammer is to really not use the impact hammer. But if you're out of ammo, if you're out of resources and you're forced to use the impact hammer as a last resort, the best way to find a kill is basically hope and pray that somebody is preoccupied in another fight or another situation, and then you can sneak up gradually, but he will hear you at some point. But this is the best bit: as he turns round to see you inches away from his face with this impact hammer, you can see the fear in your enemy's eyes as you splat him against the wall. It's beautiful, but very rare, and 95% of the time you will die. The impact hammer's primary fire can also be used as a movement tool, giving extra velocity and height to your movement. Whereas a regular jump couldn't get you up to this ledge, a hammer jump could. To perform a small hammer jump, simply aim towards the ground, then jump. As you just leave the ground, you should immediately fire your impact hammer. Just a quick tap should do it, and this should send you into the air, giving you extra height and velocity, but don't forget to press your forward directional key so you continue that movement onwards. This is the same footage again in real time, just to show you how quick it is from the jump to the impact hammer R. It's almost simultaneous. Here it is again, but in super slow motion. Now often the tastiest power-ups will be in those hard to reach areas. Now where a small hammer jump cannot reach the U damage here, a big hammer jump can. All we need to do is simply charge up the hammer. Once it's fully charged, jump, let go of primary fire, and then fly through the air to get to that U damage. Being able to use this hammer jump to get to these items will give you a huge advantage over your opponents. Now hammer jumps come at a risk. Not only are they noisy and give away your position to your enemies, it also does self damage. So for a small jump you'll lose 25 HP, for a big jump you'll lose 40. The impact hammer's secondary fire mode is a defensive mechanism only. It's great for getting out of those bad respawns or situations where you need to tactically retreat. It can give you the time you need to find a weapon or an item to get you back into the fight. The impact hammer's secondary fire mode fires a brief short-range shockwave that can push your enemies back, slowing them down temporarily. However, the shockwave itself will do no damage to your opponent, but if you're lucky you might be able to push them off a ledge or prevent them from chasing you. The knockback effects vary dramatically on distance. The further away the opponent is, the bigger the knockback effect will be. The shockwave can also cancel out or detonate incoming projectiles, allowing it to be used as a rudimentary shield, making it incredibly useful to get out of those tricky situations. The shockwave fires in a cone formation. The further it travels, the bigger it gets, providing a larger shield function towards the end of the burst. However, if you fail to line up your shockwave aim properly or mistime your release of the shockwave, you will be more than likely horribly misfigured. The shockwave's recharge time is relatively quick, making it easy to block slow firing projectiles such as the rocket launcher or the shock core. However, continuous firing weapons such as the stinger and link gun can easily shoot through the shockwave's intervals. Although the shockwave is incredibly good at defensive play, every defense has its flaws. Watch out for those high shot combos that can be detonated over your head, and also watch out for your toes from that rocket splash damage. Be careful when chasing players with the impact hammer. You can often hurt yourself by firing a projectile too close to the shockwave, doing damage to yourself or maybe even killing yourself. Although funny watching other people kill themselves on your shockwaves, the other way around is definitely not so fun. The impact hammer's secondary fire can be used in many interesting ways. My personal favourite is to use it to steal. Here's a classic example of me stealing some armour using the shockwave. As you can see, my opponent here is waiting to pick up the armour, which spawns on this very platform. He's in a great position to take it when it respawns. However, I'm feeling brave and I know I want the armour more. Diving in head first, I use the shockwave to clear the way of projectiles. As my opponent sees me flying towards him, he panics, instinctively dodging backwards. Thinking I was going to use an offensive weapon, he retreats into cover, giving me a chance to steal the armour. As I land on the platform, I can see how much time I have to wait before I can pick up the armour. I'm slightly too early, but luckily this is what the shockwave does best. It can give you those extra few seconds you need to survive, changing the course of the battle, allowing me to steal the armour and get the first frag of the game. So that's the impact hammer in a nutshell. I hope to see you guys in the tournament soon. Good luck, have fun out there.